months in office, the United Party for National Development administration has not seen it easy while governing the country, as it has continued receiving criticism from different opposition political parties from right to left, with the main critiquers being the opposition Patriotic Front, who lost power in the 12 August 2021 general elections. While the opposition Patriotic Front have been in the forefront to be the main critiquers, different stakeholders hold their checks and balance to be non-valued on allegation that they left the country in a mess. But on the other side, the Patriotic Front claim they will not stop to offer the necessary checks and balance, and have on different occasions claim that the current administration has failed to govern this country.
They are not concerned about the welfare of Zambians. These Zambians, you must know. Praise singers, time has come for you to also be realistic. Don't just go about singing praises without you understanding that on a daily basis the cost of living for you too is getting more and more expensive.
Patriotic Front. And that's my job. I will speak here, I'll speak tomorrow, I'll speak in Kabwata. That is my responsibility. So let him just bless himself. Manawasa said, I have a thick skin. Thick skin. Paranoia in the morning, paranoia at lunch, paranoia in the evening.
But those in the alliance with the current administration states that the PF should take leave to introspect while they claim to rebrand so that they can offer the prudent checks and balance rather than vesting their anger on matters to do with national issues.
The problem that we have with the opposition, all that we see is bitterness instead of offering reasonable and justifiable checks and balances. Agitated, and they cannot still understand and believe that they are in the opposition, because it's just in the recent past that they were in the ruling party. So they are in denial, suffice to say. So basically I'm saying the best thing that they can do is, first of all, to take a stance of introspection. Since they are claiming to go for a rebranding, I feel when you are rebranding, you take leave, sabbatical leave, where you can go and introspect on matters related to governance issues.
Miriam Kemba reporting for Camnet TV News. African studies have revealed that electoral violence tends to have a negative impact, driving Africans away from participating in elections. Almost all the time when the country gets toward elections, violence is experienced in all forms. This has made a majority of women and youths shun from taking part in politics. With the United Party for National Development having been ushered into office to govern this country in 2021, their first promise was to ensure the rule of law. Now the ruling party is of the view that the 2026 general elections will be peaceful, taking into account the peaceful environment it has created. United Party for National Development Lusaka Youth Provincial Chairperson Anderson Banda says the UPND administration has restored fairness and orderliness in all sectors.
Civilized type of politics which is being played in our country. A lot of things have changed, and the UPND has brought about issue-based politics. And also, it has brought about respect for each other, respect for the law, respect for electoral code of conduct. I think we are all here to witness that we've had by-elections. We have seen the difference which has been there previously and now, how these elections are being conducted. Previously, when it's time for by-elections, it was like a war time. People could shift from point A to point B for their safety. Instead of celebrating and staying around in analyzing and choosing leaders of their choice, people could resort to running away because of the violence and an environment which was not conducive.
Violence against women in politics is a global phenomenon, as it has been seen as an attempt to keep them away from participating in politics and governance issues. Mr. Band, however, says with the environment created by the UPND administration, he is confident that a lot of women and youths will take part during the 2026 general elections.
As a result of this environment which New Dawn government has brought, we are expecting youths, women to participate in numbers, because youths and women were victims of such ugly scenes in the political arena, especially women. We saw a situation where politics were characterized with character assassination, name calling, violence, corruption, even killing each other. That was the political environment which was entertained by previous colleagues, and it was very difficult for people like women to come out and participate.
Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News. Your partner is almost never okay, but some people get caught in their act who try to come up with their own justification for why they were unfaithful. Joyce Zulu, not a real name, has been left shattered with shock and disbelief that the man who married her 10 months ago in Kauma district and brought her to Lusaka has more than 5 different women. The 32-year-old, who was narrating her story with so much sorrow, says when she got married, her husband had informed her that his ex-wife, who left him, was owing different people money close to 30,000 kwacha. And after helping him clear off that balance, he changed his attitude toward her, claiming she was useless. Not only has she endured the pain of being cheated by her husband, the 32-year-old claims to be neglected, adding that her 42-year-old husband does not provide for the family. And when he does so, he only comes with 2 pieces of pork meat. To add more pain to her story, the 32-year-old is also a victim of gender-based violence.
Nitenga kumunzi kunileta kuno kulusaka. Bamuna wanaka bakazi wa benze na problemu. Beba enda kunitenga mkazi wanga na kukunda tieti kankale pamozi. So bebe wananitengera pamozi hapo tutapura pamozi kuno kulusaka.
It marks the end of a long road of dreams and plans, discussions and debates, negotiations and bids, adjustments and agreement. The University of Zambia will soon house an infrastructure that will strengthen the capacity to manage infectious diseases and respond to outbreaks in Zambia and across the region. This milestone has been made possible with funding from the World Bank. And speaking during the launch, Ministry of Higher Education Permanent Secretary Kayola Siame has assured that government will ensure that the center has the resources to adequately prevent, detect and respond to diseases of public health importance.
And I want to thank all of you who have come here today to witness this significant step that has been taken towards strengthening the capacity to manage infectious diseases to respond to outbreaks of humans and animals in Zambia and across the region. As you will note, this Center of Excellence is not just for Zambia, but it is an Africa Center of Excellence, which means that the impact of this center will go beyond the borders of Zambia.
And University of Zambia Deputy Vice Chancellor Tamara Kambikambi says there is apparently a growing global concern about the emerging and re-emerging of infectious diseases which are leveraged in various parts of the world, disrupting normal operations of government, society, businesses, industry and health facilities.
The launch of the rehabilitation works on the aside building will ensure that more postgraduate students will be trained using high-tech facilities and will accord the center with an opportunity to attract more regional and international students. It is our vision to make this center of excellence one that will be there to reckon with at regional, at continental, as well as international levels. What is this fear that I have? This fear that we're going to build this building and then at the end of this project, this building will be a white elephant. There will not be really happening beyond funding in the World Bank. That's the fear that I have. But I'm very sure that this fear is not justified. Just like we have all these people who have come here, because I know that this is not going to be a white elephant. It's going to be a sustainable project and the investment of the World Bank into this country of ours.
And project leader Bernard Hambobe has assured that the project will be completed by next year.
So the project implementation unit would like to assure all present here that we will work hard, especially through the World Bank, the government of the Republic of Zambia, and the University of Zambia management. Their open door policy to us, it's 100%.
Zambia is not strange to outbreak of diseases such as the foot and mouth disease in animals that has continued to kill animals in the country, and now the COVID-19. The ability to detect diseases quickly in both animals and human beings plays an important role in preventing the further spread of the diseases. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News. Behind me is a group of persons living with cross-cutting disabilities who every month gather at this place to receive alms from well-wishers. For many years, these persons have complained of being left out on empowerment programs that government is distributing across the country. They are now calling on President Lungu to meet them so that they can air their grievances.
Lero tulero mbako kuli bakateka baedika chagwa Lungu ni bakateka wesu ama program aya bomba kuli fofema disabled tayale bomba bwino nama empowerment ya balepera fofema disabled na ya chepa tulero mbako bachagwa Lungu kuti bapalama kuli fofema disabled depo baishira pa buteko bachagwa tabala ndako na fofwe balemana echa tuleilishanya fwe balemana chakwe batinga twaya ku office community development tabatuposa kwa mano twalire mba makarata na makarata kwa batulefo kumunana bakateka lero bala tuchinga tulibe na Zambia twale manafye tatwale manamano
pino bale chita empower abantu ukutilo kwe bati government waitetishire na decision ya kwe bati batukolonganika ko ma groups muliomo tuli batupangako na informa group 1010 so that batupera kwenda lamesha ko bati muliamu inomo tuli mu group twalima twasombola file fintu songa twasombola so that wa government baisa baingira mubena bambo kula chite fintu kuli baifwe nishite tubachitire cha musango efi pantunga bachite chonishi it's the pattern pass yako bati watako empower na ifwe bene pamula ndo akutiro ko bati na ifwe bene ni sha mafia yala baya kutuchepani nako ifwe ma person living with disabilities.
These persons have lamented that the 10% policy for inclusions of persons with cross-cutting disabilities in all sectors is being abused by those entrusted with the responsibility to implement it.
When they say 10% of the persons with disabilities, in reality, it should be persons with disabilities only. You know what? Ngakutilesa abantu abalebo kuyasanga tuwale mwana wabikire po umo 9 babula tina duwala menso kashta adi wafe bwino bambela na disability card but appeed mulole keshe. If you are corrupt, you see what we are going to do. Teti mule buno muntu shale mana. Eo mwampela disability. Instead ya kumula abantu wale overpele 10%. Abale mana bengi wala baangila mufi ya skulu. Abengi bali nabekala na ma certificate yabo. Bali ya training, bali ya college, bali kana ma certificates yabo. But when it comes to what right, bale bula wala batuntulo bale bika. Akwata disability. May God see you. The ones that are doing that.
While disability is not inability, these persons want to be considered for employment on targets and other areas that have to deal with money collection.
I think those people who are working there, those targets are for persons with disabilities. They cannot go around. They can work. There are people who have been to school and they can do well. The persons with disabilities can do well. Whether they are blind, they can. There's someone to interpret to him. They can do it.
Addressing the plight of persons living with cross-cutting disabilities requires a concerted effort of all stakeholders. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us on the Lunchtime Cafe right here on Camnet TV. Not just another channel. This is where we are, and thank you so much for choosing us amongst many this afternoon at exactly 16 minutes past 13 in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joe Smarter, and of course my guest for this particular afternoon to discuss many issues is Honorable Gaston Sichilima. Honorable, good to see you and welcome.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, viewers out there. I know the weather is favorable, somewhere it's windy, somewhere it's sunny, but Zambia in the sun.
Okay.
Thank you, and it's good to be back home.
Okay, fantastic. It's good to have you home, Honorable, but my viewers and me have got a bone to chew with you, Honorable. There have been theories being thrown out there, Honorable, of the shrinking democratic space, declining democratic space. However, you are coming from a party that is known to be a custodian of democracy, Honorable. And on the other hand, allow me to use this word, there's confusion in the MMD, in the file, rank and structure of the MMD. Honorable, where is this confusion emanating from?
First and foremost, I'll get back to the confusion where it started, but as I speak to you, there is no confusion.
Okay.
MMD. MMD, we are back on Ford, and even as I speak, members out there, if they want to call when you open up the line, and let one of them explain, unless he's not a member of MMD, to follow where we are and what we are saying. Now, with regard to shrinking of democracy, yes, and I hope our colleagues in a ruling government will take the leaf. We've made mistakes where we are coming from.
Okay.
Like I've said on many forums, it takes a leader to accept the wrongs.
Okay.
And the two wrongs will never make a right. When we came in MMD, two faults on the development and on the same democracy. General thinking that time of the Chiluba, I wasn't in that government, but the observation has been, we thought bringing down UNIP, we would then perform better, because UNIP being in opposition and former ruling government was a threat.
Okay.
We killed democracy. That's number one. Other than that, we went further to demolish all institutions. You're talking about industries. We did not hear. The technocrat, as long as he was aligned to UNIP, we rubbished it.
Okay.
Okay? Excuse me. And Further, we looked at President Kaunda like he was not part of us. I'm admitting the wrongs.
Okay.
That was the first mistake.
In the MMD? The administration of President
yes.
Frederick Titus Jacob Chiluba.
When we changed the heads, but still under MMD,
okay,
we went again another route of following the former president. Sadly, to date, the children are not given the benefits. The corruption we talk about, we followed. What did we find? Nothing. Even the shoes were, displaying, it didn't yield any results. But it took some of the courageous within MMD.
Okay.
I must say I was young, but I followed. The likes of the Mundias Katana and many others. I'm just mentioning because when I talk about Mundias Katana, is one courageous person that will call a spade a spade. And over time, we were joined in by Honorable Tentamashimba. He too went to be with the Lord, courageous young man at that particular time. We faced President Mwanawasa. And the truth came out that President Mwanawasa acknowledged, remember he was a lawyer, and he said, you are right on one aspect. And that's one good thing that I remember about Mwanawasa. He admitted, he said, I'm a lawyer, and I'm on this position, and number one, that anyone aggrieved, I'm the only one that you can appeal to. But the mistake was made, I'm the one that is championing for this crusade of corruption.
Okay.
And it started from there. We started cleaning it. Yes, we had the Rupia Banda coming in.
Okay.
Our friends were in opposition. It was the SATA, it was the HH. And of course, we went into the thing. Yes, you could say it is politics, but politics must change. We must grow as a nation. I'm admitting not because we're out of government. When we lost power 2011, the same thing, then remember, Mr. Santa, may he so rest in peace, was in MMD, he was an nomination secretary. He brought in the same tactics of following Rupia Banda. Unfortunately, Rupia Banda and Mr. Sata were colleagues, they worked in UNIP. We saw the fight you saw where properties were grabbed, and before we realized the first lady was being taken to court. I am saying, some of these things, if you act just because of the wind, and we are joining people who move with hate to hate a friend, and you must join in with a friend who hates them. It is all
Maybe
wrong.
repeat that, Honorable. Just repeat that.
I am saying, we joined in. Anybody who didn't like Rupia Banda spoke the loudest.
Okay.
And the person on the saddle, in this case, Mr. Sada, was like Nalamu Pesha.
Okay.
Maybe getting angered of having been too long in opposition. But the truth of the matter is, came a time when God and Zambian people spoke.
2011.
2011.
Okay.
We are not voting in MMD. And Rupia Banda then was the president out.
Okay.
They came Mr. Sata. I started to be corrected and my thinking in the way we have taken things out. Even God, if God had kept Mr. Sata, and for some reason Mr. Sata loses elections, the same thing would have happened. Because we have seen the living presidency are the current President HH and Edgar Lungu. Where Edgar Lungu's family is, yes, some matters are in court, but I want to say certain things are not right and we can see. One question that I'm asking myself, especially having rubbed shoulders with the two presidents very closely,
the current and the former.
I want to say, and I want to put it very bluntly, I can't remember when Madam Tandiwe went to the market to buy vegetables. Never mind to come and cook for Mr. Rupia.
Okay.
The rest was done by Zambian people, in this case through startups. So are you telling me In 7 years that, in this case, Mr. Lungu served as a president, he could not earn some money to give the children in order to start business. I don't know the children very well, but of course, I haven't even met them. But of course, after following politics, one of my favorite...
And being a veteran politician,
yeah, girl child, is she's Mrs. Chansana, the MP for Chawama
constituency.
When you look at that young lady, cultured, not just politics, courageous. Look at how she worked with the father into handing over instrument of powers. To date, she's one of my favorite. Not that I have children. I have 3 girls and 2 boys. But when I look at a girl child going that direction, you realize that she's a mother. Away from that, what will stop another president? Because the game that we went into, this game of football, it hasn't changed. We have gone into 45 minutes, half time.
Okay.
Unfortunately, ours, they are over. They are into the last other half. When the whistle blows, 5 years is gone. The Zambian people have got a choice to bring back the sitting president or bring somebody else. Luckily, if goes through 10 years, we say, Bwana Chapa, no matter how good, I can take you back.
Okay.
We had President Chiluba. 10 years. If you ask me, even when people with the breath of houses given, all that done, given buses to churches, schools, and whatever, it was the best at the time, isn't it? But when 10 years came in, this is the constitution I'm talking about. We said bye-bye.
Okay.
So my prayer that the current president needs to take some of it that I've spoken. I talked about joining in hating people of other people's friends, and when some people say hate this one, they want even us to hate our friends. My prayer is that when President HH comes time, I know when I mention HH to my colleagues, the ones in UPND, they're even jumping.
Okay.
We did the same. Where are we? We are out of government. They will be out of government.
So you're speaking from experience, Honorable.
Precisely. And the 2 experiences. I lost the president whilst we were in power.
Dr. Levi Patrick Mwanawasa.
Mwanawasa.
Okay.
That experience I've never forgotten.
Okay.
We lost in 2011 as a party, and we lost government. Another government comes in. I know the experience. The people that right now are dancing around HH, they will dump him. Lack of better words. They will run away and they will remain alone.
It has happened.
The only people that he will remain with are Zambians through the state machinery, because by constitution, we'll have to look after him until death.
Okay.
He's a state property. Okay. But all I'm saying to the father of the nation, be a hero. Change all these mistakes that we have made. It is only him who has the powers to call the bodyguard, the driver, let's go to Edgar Lungu. They sit down without anybody there. What comes out of there, he speaks to the nation. We'll bury this anger that we got and hating one another. We are in the street and we see it going. The National Youth Chairman, Saniso, is one of my favorite when he's speaking, very courageous. But I want that courageous to extend, to embrace other people, and not issuing statements like we saw in Komboka. And I think last night he was on the radio and they say, no, mwana akalila, ni kumuchonkolako, I don't know much of nyanja, kumuchonkolako pangono. We went through that.
As MMD.
It's all wrong. Because tomorrow, you never know who becomes the leader. Attest to it. When I was in government, President HH, they were in opposition. What has happened today? He's the president. Am I going to address him the way I was addressing him when he's in opposition? That's why I'm saying let's change the narrative. When Mwanawasa wanted to pick ministers from UPND, some of them were told they would be expelled. Okay. What has happened today? Honorable Nanumango is coming from MMD. What changes? She's still Honorable Nanumango. But she served in MMD. Am I going to disrespect her because she has gone to UPND? I'm saying no to it. Honorable Msukotwani, Minister of Finance, and even some of the policies that is working against is the one that started them.
In MMD.
In MMD. So I'm saying,
okay.
We saw it. You remember the two presidents, may souls rest in peace?
Okay.
When you talk about Mr. Sata, some of them could even be fired. Except the late Manjata, who declared in one meeting and said, me, Mr. President, facing Mwanawasa, I cannot stop going to see Mr. Sata. Mr. Sata is the one who brought me to politics. He was angered. But over time, to cut the story short, we saw Mwanawasa and Mr. Sata hugging. When he was told your brother is sick, he even stopped what it was doing. I remember he was in the gym.
Okay.
And immediately he instructed Dr. Miti and the Minister of Health to evacuate Mr. Sata. When Mr. Sata became the president, yes, we had already lost his brother. It's one thing that I give credit to. He never called names to the widow, Mrs. Mwanawasa, and the children. It could have started from there to now. Away from that, democracy.
Okay.
It's sad to even sit here and they started demonizing the new dawn when we are the one that brought in democracy and we are called mother of democracy. When we are not practicing it ourselves.
In your current form as a party?
Yes, as a party. I cited the national constitution. Okay? And we have even enshrined the date of going for elections.
Okay.
Not even the President HH can change it. Unless you take it in some forum or maybe parliament, but you need to have 2/3 majority to change that.
Okay.
It remains so. As in the MMD, we have a constitution. And when I've been talking about the MMD, by the way, even when I speak, I'm not speaking without consulting my other colleagues. There are certain things that, yes, I could have come and pronounced wrong and my colleagues have been whipping me. No, this is not what MMD is. But now I'm saying what MMD is to the Constitution. Number one, you said the confusion, but I would want to say the democratic practice we're supposed to have done, it's not a confusion.
Okay.
Is what was pronounced. And let me start from 2013.
Okay.
Zambians may remember when the only elected Major Kachingwe was wounded out of the office using the thugs, number one, illegality, which we are citing the president, outgoing president, Dr. Nevas Mumba, to have been practicing all along.
Okay.
He wounded out Major Kachingwe. Do you know why he was wounded out? Because Major Kachingwe followed the commitments that Dr. Mumba made to us in MMD that in 6 months he was going to change the whole picture of MMD. Remember, we had just lost elections when Dr. Nevas Mumba was brought in.
Okay, so you're trying to rebrand?
Yes, we're trying to rebrand, but he said 6 months. And Major Kachingwe said, I'll come back to you.
Okay.
But then later on, we came to find out when Dr. Mumba was brought in, I want to say to the Zambian people, I didn't want to bring all this the way I've been actually talking. That's why I'm happy today. I'm saying this is the manner of an interview for Zambians to know.
Okay.
Because Mr. Zumani, who was a political advisor to the former president, has an S and everybody is in there. Now, people will be saying, why haven't Chilimandi, 7MD haven't been talking about it? Now it's in the public domain.
Okay.
We were sponsored by PF.
When?
That is 2013. To go to this convention, two things: to agree to work with the PF and also running mate. The third one was that we must have slots to save in PF to work together. We were sponsored by PF.
In 2013?
It's not me. 2013. Sorry, 2015. That was 2015.
2015?
Yeah, not 2013. 2013, it was the major Kachingwa issue. 2015.
So, Honorable, wait. You are admitting on this platform, the Lunchtime Cafe, that PF sponsored you after the demise of former President Michael Chilufya Satame, so rest in peace.
Yeah.
You were sponsored as MMD to rally behind the Patriotic Front.
First, you remember that by election, we lost. Now, Mr. No, let me call him, because I can't question his faith.
Okay.
Dr. Pastor Sequila Nevas Mumba.
Okay.
Went to Edgar Lungu.
Okay.
Because remember the other, I will borrow a word, confusion, that we wanted to bring in a Rupia Banda. He stopped it and went to court. He went to Edgar Lungu and he said, without me, you would have not won these elections. So we need to sit down. And the team that went in there was Nakachinda, Elizabeth Chitika, Bola Kulima, and a few others, to go and lobby for the jobs and the slots be given to them. And one of it was to be a running mate.
Okay.
Going forward.
Okay.
Okay? So that didn't work. So why am I bringing this? All along, each time that I've been speaking, 7MD, we have always decided that we are the ones that are being sponsored by PF. But I've said it was Dr. Nevas Mumba who took us to PF. And we remained there. Taking you back, the same period was that him taking over Rupia Banda, we are going to have 2016 convention. Wow. Convention.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Honorable, maybe you can just
switch on the torch.
Continue.
One, he started throwing out odd members so that he can leave out people who didn't have the history of MMD.
Okay.
I want to bring in even to the issue of even wanting to destroy all the documents and whatnot. I want to declare here today.
Okay.
That.
Okay. So just kindly hold your thought, Honorable. Let's quickly go on a break. Just a short break. We'll be right back shortly as we continue the interview with Honorable Gaston Chilima. Stay tuned.
For National Development, UPND administration and President Hakainde Hichilema as the country faces social and economic challenges. Zambia's external debt ballooned under the former Patriotic Front PF government, growing from around 2 billion in 2011 to 14.7 billion at the end of September 2021, a situation Finance Minister Stumbeko Msokotwane says contributed significantly to the high poverty levels across the country. And recently, fuel has been another issue that has continued to push the cost of living beyond the reach of the majority poor Zambians, with many opposing the monthly review of the pump price. Economic Front President Winter Kabimba has charged that, going by the prevailing high cost of living, President Hakainde Hichilema has so far proved to be disastrous.
Attribute the increase, the rapid increase now, or the continued increase in commodity prices to the war in Ukraine is really not being truthful. Again, that is one thing that the UPND government has failed to own up. What we want to see from the UPND is, can you fulfill your campaign promises? You said that running a country is like running a government. HH projected himself as a very successful businessman. He can run this country like a business, and that because he has purportedly succeeded in his business, he will purportedly succeed as a president. What we see is a disaster. So we don't want to hear any more lame excuses about Ukraine.
But United Party for National Development Deputy Secretary General Gertrude Imenda says the country is where it is because of the Patriotic Front, adding that President Hichilema is being used as a scapegoat. She says the UPND is however equal to the task and will overcome all the obstacles.
This government has inherited a debt of $32 billion and 83% of our internally generated revenue is going to servicing the debt, which leaves only 17% for other issues. Please, Napapata, Zambian people, don't be misled. These people, noise makers, they are very jealous because he has implemented the policies that they never thought it would happen. So they are trying to stop him, to distract him, so that he does not move with the speed he's moving. The speed at which President Hakainde is moving in implementing policies that improve the lives of the Zambian people is such a great speed. And each time they want to put a hurdle, a roadblock in his path, like Samuel Matete, the 400-meter Olympic champion, hurdles, the 400 hurdles meter champion Samuel Matete. HH just jumps over. He's next. They want to go and put another. He jumps over, and that's what they are doing now.
Notably, on May Day, President Hichilema indicated that some promises may take long to materialize, but that he has a checklist to fulfill every pledge. Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka. The Public Order Act has been a very contentious law in the history of Zambian politics, as successive governments would use it to disadvantage the opposition. Just a reminder of how it was in the recent past. Firstly, police would have all sorts of justifications as to why opposition political parties should not hold their meetings during the campaign period.
Don't say because the president went to a market, I'll also go to the market. We are going to smoke you with tear smoke, or we are going to arrest you. And don't say, why didn't you arrest the Republican president? He is not subject to the provisions of the Public Order Act. We are enforcing the laws which were given to us by you, the people of Zambia.
Another topical aspect was that an opposition leader should not be in an area where the sitting president is holding a meeting.
Let's say I'm here to stop HH from coming here. HH can go to Lusaka. I've left Lusaka. HH can go to Sorezi. He can go to Lusaka. But the rules of the game now demand that where the president is, it's our security. And this has been enhanced because that behavior actually kumongu ya kuchimfia ngani kubiga alifaulu.
The current president Hakainde Hichilema knows the story better when entering Eastern Province became an issue.
I detest anyone trying to I detest anyone trying to threaten a fellow citizen. You have no right to threaten me. So I am saying We have very few. How many vehicles do we need?
However, the recent development is that Cabinet approved that the Public Order Act should be amended in order to make it more appealing, and this has excited stakeholders. And a social scientist, Innocent Kolala, is confident that this time around, the Public Order Act will be amended in the best interest of all stakeholders.
In the governments which took over from the imperialists and after the imperialists, those who were taking over, they realized that this piece of registration was so helpful in that it was so oppressive to the opposition. We saw that all the ruling political parties, they abused this law to their own interest, which even led it very difficult.
Thank you so much. We are back on the lunchtime cafe, and we are still here with Honorable Gaston Chiliman as we discuss national matters, but particularly also matters that have to do with the MMD, since they are the custodians of democracy, and there have been concerns that there might be shrinking or declining democratic space in Zambia, and we want to get his views. Honorable, before we went on that break, which comprised of news clips, you were explaining what really transpired in the MMD so that our viewers and myself, together with my producers, can be able to understand what is currently happening in the MMD. Please continue, Honorable.
Like I said, again, I must repeat.
Okay.
As this group, when in MMD, and I'll be coming to when it was born, when we were saying 7MMD, some of these things that Mr. Zuman has brought up, as we were civil, like I'm saying, democratically, we wanted to play it within ourselves.
Okay, and you are
but the illegalities continued with Dr. Nevas Mumba. Let me take you back a bit.
Okay.
As I speak to you, Dr. Nevas Mumba, and I want to say this to the nation, Dr. Nevas Mumba was not admitted in MMD. That's one illegality.
Okay.
And that's what caused Major Kachingo to boil it out. Because Major Kachingo went to find out from Registrar of Societies, where the new returns of his party RP, and that he was a president. Okay. The registrar was the Andelek, who is the current MP for Katombola.
Okay.
And disclosed the search was legally, because any Zambian is mandated to go and search. You pay for a fee, and Major Kachingwe was searched. And wanted to find that Dr. Nevas Mumba was the president for RP, and then we submitted that it becomes the president for MMD. In the Registrar of Societies Act, dual membership is not allowed.
Okay.
So Major Kachingwe brought it up. Okay? There were a lot of illegalities where he could even bring in commissioners to start changing the constitution and all that, because when he took over the realm of MMD, he realized that, and I want to say up to now, the president doesn't have much power. It's the most easily and can be removed anytime provincial conferences can remove. There are procedures. Okay. But even removing of Major Kachingwe for bringing the dual membership of Dr. Mumba, even now as we are talking, and that's more reason why he bent all the documents, thinking that he bent the evidence. We have evidence. Because our party, we were in government for...
Now, Honorable, for somebody that is watching out there, they might say you are accusing... first of all, he's not here to defend himself. Secondly, for somebody that is watching that, they might say, why now? Why bring this now, Honorable? Why wasn't this addressed some 5 years ago?
The Zambians,
some 10 years ago?
The Zambians, including myself, we have rose against the ruling government that democracy is not prevailing. So us who brought in democracy, we are not practicing democracy. What we are talking about, when we talk about MMD, we are not talking about, never has been pronounced, because he's been the president, isn't it? Just like when you talk about HH, it's as good as talking about UPND, who are in government.
Okay.
So even when you say he's not here to defend himself, he's got every right to dispute what I'm saying now. So even when he bent documents, he was bending, thinking that the letters of being readmitting or admitted would. We have, MMD was in government and we had all the gadgets. We have copies of letters. They didn't know that there was a server. Okay? So I'm bringing in all these illegalities that was done to date.
Okay.
Then he moved, as much as he took us to PF, they went to State House. They are lobbying for the jobs, and he also lobbied now that we go to the police conference. Okay? Where now we had to enshrine in the working relationship of, this is 2018.
Okay.
Now, when he realized that we were not going to be running mate in the name of Dr. Nevas Sakwila Mumba, pastor,
okay,
he jumped. He went to UPND.
Okay.
Again there, he was lobbying to be a running mate. He caused havoc within UPND. We saw it and we knew it. We didn't relinquish the working relationship with the PF. Okay. Meanwhile, us in MMD that time, because we had started our own frictions, we were being accused that we were being sponsored by that. Now, I want to declare that it's not even us who benefited from PF. It was himself that benefited. So he went to UPND. When UPND lost power and the PF won, he went back to PF. He was given again the money in that same 2018 to go and denounce UPND alliance.
Okay.
And you remember, it's in public domain. I'm not saying this or putting words in his mouth. He is the one who said he went to work with UPND. They are very ungrateful, and he even gave 50,000 kwacha each to members of parliament. That was debated. He went back. When he saw that it's not working, remember, before we knew it, we were into another elections.
Okay.
When UPND won, I must also disclose, as much as I'm disclosing the other side, I can as well, with due respect to my colleagues that we've been following, we equally said, look, we have been dormant for too long. Our members, in this case, Kawata constituency, wants to participate because they have been with this member of parliament that the UPND is bringing in. They're asking permission to see if they can participate. But we looked at the alliance. We wrote.
Okay.
So the moment he sniffed, this time around, I must say, we had already now started working together with the people that were following him and ourselves.
Okay.
There is no loser of saying, for me to come here and come and say, I've won people that were working with the Nevas Mumba, they're now with me. Or themselves saying, no, now Chidima is agreed, now is working with us that were working with the Nevas Mumba. We just realized that it's one MMD. But as we are talking, thinking that we can now talk about the real rebranding, because we have been calling ourselves for all-inclusive working relation within MMD. Okay. He jumped. You remember the campaign in Kabwata?
Okay.
He went on the platform that we are in this alliance. After all, we have been working with an alliance. To date, the alliance is only spoken by one person. Not even UPND speaks about it. We have even since written to a national secretary. We have even written to the government through the spokesperson. The person they are embracing, this is the issues that we've got. So I'm saying we are not playing the democracy game. Why should we jump in going into alliances to go and play what? What are we taking on the table? On one hand, Zambians are saying democracy has shrinked. And indeed it has shrinked. Going back to what I'm saying, we want to suppress on the players of the opposition in order to remain the only ones that are playing. Where is democracy? We lost power, 2011. We accepted. We are existing. And other political parties, they are old, and the new ones that have been formed, it's democratic right that Zambians need to play this. Let me tell you the role that people in opposition play, because we experienced both. We were in government, but we had opposition. Some of the things that we say, for instance, I always quote my brother, Honorable Gary Nkombo. He said, this drought that you are talking about, electricity, road shading. I was at Energy when my brother debated in Parliament that we can have a canal from Luapula through Pedico. It's a short distance. We have solutions where you can get water. I've been waiting. This is 2.5 years plus.
Okay.
Now weeks. Bwana Gary Nkombo, Honorable, your advice was valid and we took it on the table. I'm sure if the availability study that were done in the previous government, because as we're in the other government, by now it should be UPND now implementing it to have water from Luapula into Kafue so that we can have constant generation of Kafue Gorge in order to supplement. He went further. Why are you sleeping on Kafue Law? That was Mwanawasa's project. When I say Mwanawasa, it was during our time.
Okay.
Okay? So, opposition, let's not look at the opposition as enemies. I can go further to my old father, the late Chamacha Komboka. When he was saying there are minerals and I know I have the secret where they are, we were laughing about it. Today, I can tell you, go any corner of this country, you find minerals.
So he was right.
Who knew that there would be copper in Southern Province? Who knew there could be, for instance, cobalt in South Ruangwa? Who knew some of these mines that are open? These mines are not new. They were there. So even my father, the late, may so rest in peace, Chamacha Komboka, knew. He was in opposition. Today we are implementing it. And many other opposition, including Mr. Sata, they spoke about it. Yes, Mr. Sata, we may forgive because he was in UNIP and he knew what UNIP was doing. But these other opposition leaders, they have solution. I was listening to Anford Banda, the route in which we need to take on economic recovery. One of it that I picked, and we followed it, is that of subsidizing. I was reading, Honorable Msokotwane says we will never subsidize the...
It's here in one of the daily tabloids.
Yes.
The Minister of Finance says that there is no room for subsidy.
That is suicide. And we are celebrating because the ambassador from UK is embracing, no, they are doing very well, they are doing what, this corruption thing. Meanwhile, we are suppressing our own Zambian businessmen. So are you telling me a Zambian can't be rich? One of it that I've copped, and people may not know. I was wondering why, before he was the president, but I want to say, why is it that H7 has got so many animals? It's very simple.
Okay.
I went in the corridors there around Wengo and followed and of course sniffed in a few farms before he was I went to Mr. Mwanawaza. I said, sir, insemination is a key. Dipping animals regularly is a key. I'm an engineer, I'm not an agriculturist, but I learned something out of it. I just went back to my parents, small animals in number. You inseminate 10 within a year, you've got 20 because it's just 8 months.
Okay.
After 1 month, you can inseminate the same animal that has dropped to give you the calf. Over 5 years. And we are busy laughing. I said what I said even before H became a president. We are busy laughing. H Anabadarama. He was using brains. Why can't we go in our rural areas? You find one villager is got 40 animals. Mwaikala for 5 years, paka ikapape. Why not go the technical way? Me, I learned something from HH, and I'm practicing as I'm speaking to you.
Okay.
Okay? So I am saying, Anford Banda says, if we don't subsidize fuel, it means that every month sugar will be going up. It means that every month milk will be going up. The same European ambassador who is telling you from UK, who is telling don't subsidize them, they are busy heavily subsidizing the farmers back home in UK.
Where is it coming from?
Where is it coming from? I've always wanted to say, in my understanding, I want Dr. Abazoka to correct me. Subsidizing simply means, for me, if you have to ubika mubutala ukwete rumu in order for you to prolong the days in which you can actually harvest from it.
Okay.
Subsidize the fuel. Support production. Go into mass production. The chain reaction will be that ZRI director and his team will collect tax and replace whatever you're subsidizing. What I'm against is borrowing to subsidize.
Okay.
But work to produce more, any income from Zambians, and subsidize the fuel. Because when you subsidize the fuel, you help them to produce more. But if you increase the fuel every year, I tell you production suffers. What will be the end result? You won't have maize, you won't have wheat, you won't have soybeans. And those three I've talked about, livestock is affected. Any farmer is affected to transport anything. We have a floor price right now, but we have increased the fuel. Okay, floor price of a maize per bag is announced. Next moment you are increasing fuel. What are you saying to a transporter? Go to transporters like time tracking and if you ask him if he's going to charge you the same transport cost was at the time you were announcing production delivery. It won't.
Even toffees were increased, Honorable.
Exactly. So the egg, the price goes up. Now, my first salary when I joined the mine, it was 120 kwacha.
Okay.
The same title, the same qualification, today somebody is talking about maybe 15,000, 18,000 kwacha. Why am I bringing in this? The sugar that was 3 ngwe, the sugar today is 60 kwacha. Quite 11 ngwe, as we went up.
Okay.
Transport on UBZ, which was 50 ngwe, from Umbala to Lusaka, we are talking about 600-700 kwacha. So if you don't subsidize on fuel, are you going to go to Jordan or Jonda or indeed UBZ and any of these people that are running buses to reduce?
But the minister has made it clear that there's no room for subsidies. It's there.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. We are playing into the gallery. It's like, Mrs. Man, it's like, I tell you, you know, we need to be serious when we are looking after people. You and me, we meet. Mwana, tonight let's go and beat our wives. We are in the bar. Or anywhere in the club. When we are going home, if God has blessed us with vehicles, bye-bye, Joe. Me, I am going home with rose flowers. Kuriaba kashwandibala nkampelanga shide no to my eggs naka wanu kg T-bone. When I go there, it's all rose. You go home, you start beating your wife. Tomorrow, you start comparing. I saw another one. You start comparing. Why is it Wamuka Gaston is shaking Kaboko see? It's all happy, it's all rosy this side.
It's animal.
Somebody was comparing, no, fuel is 45 pounds. And what is the buying power of a pound in UK? Can you compare it to kwacha? We follow this on social media. Somebody even says the same age, 100. The other one is pounds. The other one is kwacha. Can they buy the same thing? Nothing. 100 pounds, if I'm not mistaken, is 3,200 kwacha.
Okay.
100 kwacha remains 100 kwacha.
Yes.
It is, today is about 2.5 litre petrol. So all I am saying is, Zambians, over time, if anybody didn't learn from Mwanawasa, then you don't know what you are doing in that government. Mwanawasa came up and I said the donors can go to hell with their money. Let's find our own money. Remember winter maize? I mean, the solution we realized, you remember up to now, it's on the public domain that Mwanawasa during our time, we sold the mine at 25 million. The guy plays his game. I remember my father saying, any businessman who's not a crook is not a businessman. What was he saying? You need to go and buy Lifebuoy soap from the wholesale, add 5 in way to make a profit.
Okay,
and he made the profit from selling Lifebuoy, and he took me to a fee-paying school.
Okay.
So the same thing with Zambians. We can turn around and find where can we make money. I mean, it's on public domain. Each time when you're asking, for instance, the other question somebody was asking me, where is the 14 tons of sugerite? Where is the Mukula tea? Where the Mukula tree? Where is gold which turned into copper? Now, this thing didn't just disappear. There's money involved. All we are saying is, where is that money?
People.
That's one thing where HH1 people. He's an economist, young man, educated, businessman, farmer. Where I come from, they even named him Sichilima.
Okay.
Sichilima means farmer. No matter how much you speak against H, they tell you, no. I think it's time to Elisha Komulimi Munes, meaning to Elisha Sichilima Munes. And they were calling him Sichilima, no man Sichilima to the fly.
Okay.
Okay? Because people believed in him. Never mind the pronouncements of what to do. At the time, I want to be the first one to admit, at the time President HH was saying we can have meal at 50 kwacha. He did his calculations.
And it was possible.
But they didn't know the nitty-gritty of government.
Okay.
Now, on government, I want to bring it that he needs to be bold enough with his cabinet, not for us to be twisted and dancing to the pronouncement of the ambassador. No, Zambia is doing well. Meanwhile, you're suppressing your own Zambians. We are going back to the time of seated. Me, I've lived long enough. I can declare. One time, I was flying from England. I didn't declare 50 pounds. It was in the jacket. I was jumping on a public transport to come to Lusaka to explain why did I bring 50 pounds without declaring. I wasn't in private business. I was a minor. So we have gone back to the times of seated. Now, you cannot even, Achani Kusarula, the youngster was singing the song, Atifeture Sarula. This time around, us in the mines as bachelors, Kobra 3-4 to Kapenta Turia, Kai Nikumalasti Kuria, Nikumalasti to Kapenta Pangula, Gatuanunka Pachipanda, They are not eating with you. You get my point? So now, even people are fearing. There are no brides, I'm telling you. Where we are coming from time of Mwanawasa, this I can show off on time of Lupia. There were brides in Kawata, in Chawama, Kanyama. You don't need to go to Chicago or where to go and bride. No. You need just to go 2, 3, 4 friends. You bride. Tell me how many people are frying. I want to agree with Madam Rora Meet. Mulin Salah. But we are all looking to our Father. When I say our Father, we are all looking now to New Dawn. Some of these things that I'm talking about, we went through it.
Okay.
Mwanawasa had to call the millers. What is the solution? The term from the ministry, they will say, no, we have offloaded maize from food reserve. Let's just come out. We have subsidized.
That's the
then property. When we sit with the mirrors, we'll tell the mirrors, but hey, we have subsidized you with this maize. You can't make your profit markup of so much.
Okay.
Okay? Then you also go further to look at the floor price. Look at FISIP, what is your input? Sit down as a government, what is it that we're subsidizing?
Okay.
And in this country, I want somebody to come and challenge me. It's peasant farmers that have been feeding us from time of memorial. But we have choked the peasant farmer.
He's unable to produce.
I was in Mapatija area. When I looked at the field, I found over, I think it was about 6,000. And the old man, he says, Mwana wangu, mapopwa, I'm only selling 4,000. The rest is for my family. And when I say my family, it's for the locals those that can't manage to go and pick from the main road. That place where we were, from Mapatisia area to the road, Great North Road to Livingstone, you're talking about this amount, maybe 20 kilometers or 30 kilometers. Okay? Now you ask, do you have tractors? He said no.
Okay.
I'm using animals.
Okay.
Now I said to myself, if we can have 100, 200 of those in Mapatisia, would we be importing maize? We can't. Yes, one is talking about the rains. This country, we are blessed.
Okay.
Northwestern, instead of just thinking of the mines, we would have taken commercial farmers there.
Okay. Honorable, we've overrun 3 minutes. We are winding up. What are some of the solutions to these economic challenges that we are facing? Let's come to the solutions, Honorable. I know you have labored so much to explain, but let's come to the solutions as we conclude, Honorable.
The solution, my colleagues in government, the saying has already been said. The president set the tone, unless I stand to be corrected.
Okay.
Didn't the president say, I want the solutions from everyone to come forward? Coming forward, let the government go for Indaba.
We need an economic Indaba?
Yes, solutions are there.
Okay.
Because some of the things, like that pronouncement of Honorable Msokotano saying, we'll never subsidize. I'm saying, and I've made it very simple. Subsidize. The question Mr. Msokotano should be asking, this money I'm subsidizing, where do we get it from? Give a challenge to Zambians. Produce more. So in simple terms, we will be enslaved, rather we have been enslaved, working for others. They are getting copper without our knowledge. Yes, we may say so much metric tons has gone. The copper, no matter how much we have processed it, for me, I'm still calling it copper ore. Because you don't know what gold is in there. You don't know what zinc in there. And for instance, cobalt is in there. I can tell you as a miner, right now when you go on the market, unless that has gone down, it's $32,000 per ton. Copper has gone to 10.
Okay.
But here, they are declaring copper. Do we know what they are selling out there? Because when they go to refine it, they get all these out of it.
But armed with that knowledge, Honorable, why are we not putting measures in place as a country to make sure that...
I'll take you back.
Okay.
When we look at Zambians, and I want Zambians to take it from me, I'm not the best brain,
okay,
but my little experience, and I'm sure many will agree.
Okay.
Let's stop looking at each other as enemies. When I go to greet, for instance, Honorable Jack Mwimbu, then I become an enemy, or Jack Mwimbu is an enemy. Let's share these ideas.
Okay.
Then we are going to move as Zambia. The moment the whistle blows, the PHH is a winner. Forget about campaign. But sorry to say, including myself, we've been campaigning in 2.5 years. We are probably even talking about who's dressed, better between Joe and Mrs. Chilima. We have gone petty. The other day we are even talking about a girl asking somebody, why don't you speak to this Zambian? For me, I can respond to any Zambian language. For me, I can marry from any corner, if given an opportunity. I have friends from any part of this country.
That shouldn't be an issue.
My home is the United Nations. I have more sisters who are married to most of these tribes. I want to confirm that some of them, even when they were marrying, I didn't ask my sister, I said, you, what tribe is this man marrying you? Or I was interested in, I'm going to have my brother-in-law. Because they gave me nephews. When I grew up, the nephews are looking after me. As I speak to you, some nephews are councillors in UPND. Just like I was an MP, minister, in a home of a UNIP. My father died in UNIP 2005. Why can't we take that leaf? I can't wait when President HH is going to walk in some home. This is where I miss Kambela, the late Mazoka. May he so rest in peace. Okay. When he was the general manager of Zambia Railways, he would go to Huacha for his servant's funeral relative. No kwikala panshi, I saw it.
You were there?
I went to school in Kabwe. I saw it. Then it clicks and says a leader is born. It's not just created. Some of these leaders we have, we are creating them.
Okay, all right, Bob. Wise words. Let's end right there. My director won't spare me if we overrun. We'll get your words. Some of these leaders we are having, we are creating. A leader is born. Thank you so much, Honorable, for those wise words. And thank you for always being available whenever we request on you to make an appearance.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much for Zambians. I am only preaching peace. Let's just be in peace. By the way, the last Sunday, I attended a fundraising where I met my brothers from UPND. We danced together, we shook hands, we hugged each other. I think it's he stood in Mandevo, must have been Mandevo. Brilliant young man, and he's got a future in politics.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable. There you have it, viewers. That was my guest this particular afternoon, Honorable Gaston Chilima, veteran politician, peace ambassador, enthusiast, if you like, and obviously coming through to talk about matters of governance and offering advice to the current administration and to all politicians out there. Thank you, the viewer, and thank you to my director for this particular afternoon, Mr. Chifita Isaac, for having given us a few more minutes to overrun the program. We do appreciate you, sir. I have been your host, Joe Smarter is my name. Until next time, it's bye-bye and God bless. Good afternoon.